Hey, Jackie,
Yes.
you probably already know this, but if you didn't, you can save the chat if you want to.
Oh, really? I never
Yeah,
have been. I never have saved a chat. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's right in the chat window. I think to the bottom right, maybe.
Okay. I learn something new every day. That's awesome. Okay. It says it is recording, so I'm going to take that as truth. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Everybody's sending their Slack message now, and my computer is blowing up here. Share. Okay. All right. Minimize this, that, and present. From the beginning. I am at the end. Okay, cool. And it says it's still recording. Awesome. Sometime during the night, during the last class, it got paused and the recording wasn't recording. Okay, so you know the overview of the course, and what we're aiming to do is to be able to promote your brand, product, or service. And I changed the schedule a little bit because of the conversation from the first class. I took the local search down to 1 day, and I added Google Analytics. So we'll cover Google Analytics on Tuesday. And then we'll do local search and then social media and automation. So we're going to talk about SEO tonight. And there are two parts to SEO. There's on-page SEO and technical SEO. We're going to focus on page SEO most. We're going to cover technical SEO highlighted. It's search engine optimization so that your brand can be found online for quality traffic, quantity traffic, and organic results. So SEO is about organic traffic, not ads. On-page SEO is the practice of optimizing the content that goes on your website so that the search engines know what your page is about and can index it and present it on the search engine, the SERPs, the search engine results page. And here's the general checklist. I need to move this. There we go. We're going to cover all of these in detail, but this is a list of the SEO checklist for on-page optimization. The first one is, whoops, back up. Understanding the search intent. Okay, so I want each of you to go to your computer, and I want you to search for something like orange shoes. And then I want you to add the word best to it. You can use any term you want, but the example I have here is dream pet. So if you want your dream pet, well, if you search for dream pet, you're going to end up with some kind of a game that's called Dream Pet. If you search dreaming pet, you're going to get search results about pets that dream. And then if you search for something like the best pet for families, then you're going to get a totally different kind of search. So how you put the intent of your words in the search field makes a huge difference on whether or not your content's going to come up. When you write your content, You want to make sure that it matches the intent of the searcher. So how did your search look? Did you see the difference between the search for orange shoes and the best orange shoes? So if you just type in orange shoes, you're just going to get a bunch of orange shoes. It's products and where you can find those products. But if you put the word best in front of it, you're going to get articles about, you're still going to get orange shoes for products, not as many, but you're going to get information about the best orange running shoes, the best shoes for running, the best orange sneakers. You're going to get articles rather than just product. So if you had content about orange shoes, you really wouldn't want to use, if you wanted to talk about running shoes and the best running shoes for, let's say, marathons, you wouldn't just want your keyword phrase to be orange shoes. You would want your keyword phrase to be the best orange shoes for marathons. See the difference? So search intent is really important in your keyword phrase.
So Jackie, question. So this is almost like saying if people are looking for durability, they could put that there instead of best.
Sure.
You want the most durable. So instead of putting good shoes or best shoes, you could put, you know, most durable or stuff like that.
Absolutely. Because durability is a different defining term than best. So if you want durable orange shoes or orange shoes designed for durability, then that's what you would put in your keyword phrase in the search field, and that's what your keyword phrase should be, and your article should be about durability, not just shoes are orange.
Okay, thank you.
You need those defining words, and that's what makes a long tail keyword phrase so important, is because you can define the intent of the search.
Okay.
To fit the content and the service that you provide.
Right. Okay.
So the next thing is LSI keywords. Now, when you put a keyword phrase into the search field up here, at the bottom of the screen, you will see related searches. These are LSI keyword phrases. They're variations of orange shoes. There's bright orange sneakers, there's orange running shoes, burnt orange shoes. Let's put in that term, Ohio trademark. Trademark attorney, Ohio. So let's see, related. These are the LSI keywords for that keyword phrase. Trademark attorneys in Columbus, copyright attorneys. These are all variations of the trademark attorney, Ohio. So if she does a lot of business on trademarks, then you would probably want to write content on every one of these variations.
And I would need to also make sure that we include those words in her website as well.
Yes. Well, when you write a piece of content, you want the intent of the content to be known. So if your title is Sally is a trademark attorney in Ohio, or what does a trademark attorney in Ohio do? Whatever your title of your content is, inside that content, you want to put that same phrase, changing the words a little bit, but keeping the same intent.
Okay.
And that's called semantic keywords. Latent semantic indexing. Google, this is a big thing for Google. It's one of the algorithm changes that they had a few years ago, is figuring out one word and then getting similar words with the same meaning to come up in that same search. Okay, use short descriptive URLs. So most of you will probably work in WordPress, is that correct? Are you all working in WordPress?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. In WordPress, it's very easy to shorten your URL. When you put your content into WordPress, if I just copy, this is the title right here, blog SEO, how to search engine optimize your blog content, that automatically becomes your URL. But WordPress allows you to eliminate, to shorten it so that it's more succinct. So HubSpot's blog HubSpot is in the marketing category. They changed this to blog search engine optimization. So having a shorter URL makes your content more searchable through the search engine's eyes. They don't like long URLs. This is the key to on-page optimization. You add your target keyword to your title, your meta description, and your H1. I'm going to show you a piece of content that my team wrote for my client, Arizona Tile. Arizona Tile is a retail wholesaler based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Their retail stores are only in the West. They wholesale nationwide, though, to places like Home Depot and Lowe's. They have a beautiful website. I hate their blog, but the website's beautiful. And this is content that we wrote for them. And it's the H1 is white on white kitchen with a touch of backsplash. Keyword phrase was white kitchen. So, and here's the meta description. We included white kitchens and variations, all white kitchens, white kitchens, white kitchens, white on white, space.
What does H1 mean?
H1 is, you have title tags in HTML, and H1 is your heading, and H2 is a subheading, and H3 is a subheading. So you only have one H1 tag on your page, and an H2 would be the subheadings, like this is an H2. That's an H2. And it's a subheading. They only have one subheading. Usually there's 3 or 4 of them on a page. But this particular blog only had one. And when you tag your content with H1s and H2s, Google their crawlers read that as the H1 is the most important words on the page. The H2 defines the most important words on the page, or its variations of the most important words on the page. So with blog content, it's very important to have subheadings for 2 reasons. It's easier for the search engines to crawl the page and decide what the page is about. And it's also easier for the reader to be able to scan the page and know what the page is about. So let me show you this. And this is what it looks like when it was published. They did not shorten the URL. They used the whole thing up there. I would have recommended that they shorten that a little bit. white on white kitchens. Well, I guess you couldn't shorten it too much. And then every one of their images, they use a lot of images, have they have a title, and then they also have an alt tag that describes what the image is. They also have a chat bot. It's kind of annoying. But you'll see in their images, there's white kitchen in the titles. So here's a black backsplash and a gray backsplash. You'll also see that they have a lot of internal links. So all these blue lines are linking to other content within their website that talks about kitchens and tile and whatever, and the names of the tiles. And that helps that page rank well by including links to internal pages to your website and external pages. Okay.
Do you mind just going back
Sure.
to clarify something
To where?
to the web page you just had up? Unless you closed it, and I'm sorry.
No, it's not closed. There it is.
Okay. I figured you had multiple tabs, but then I thought, no, she's probably already.
No,
So, like, just to be clear here, when you're talking about this here, you're talking about the title tag, right?
this is the title. This is the H1.
That's the H1.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure about that. I mean, well, anyway, I just heard you mention title tag, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm
Now,
like, wait a
on
minute. That's,
There is a separate title tag. When you have a WordPress, there is a place for you to put a title, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the title of your blog. So the title tag is a little bit different than the H1 sometimes.
yeah, because I've run across that with previous WordPress sites where it's a little aggravating, but I understand where they're coming from. They're trying to make it easy, you know, for somebody, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like thinking it was the wrong thing all this time.
You're doing absolutely the correct thing, and I wish I had a current blog that I was using that had SEO by Yoast. SEO by Yoast is my favorite, absolute favorite tool for WordPress SEO. All you have to do is fill in the blanks, and it will tell you where to put the title tag, where to put what URL you want to have showing, what your H1 is, what your H2s are. It will tell you where to put your keyword phrase. It'll tell you if your content is written correctly to rank for that particular keyword phrase.
Nice.
And it'll tell you things that you need to do in order to correct your content so that it will optimize. And it gives you green, yellow, and red lights. So if you get a green light, it means you did good. You can keep going. If you get a yellow light, it's a caution. It's okay, but it's best if you fix it. If you get a red light, it's telling you you didn't optimize this well for this particular situation. And things on the SEO by Yoast would be if the content is readable, if it's easy to read, if your words are too big, it'll give you a red light. Web content is written for 5th grade level. So if it's too sophisticated, if it's too highly educated words, then they'll ding you for it. If you have too many keywords on the page, it'll ding you for keyword stuffing.
What is the name of the site you mentioned for WordPress?
It's called SEO by Yoast.
By what? You spell that
Yoast.
Yoast.
Oh, okay.
Yoast.
I thought you said ghost.
No, Yoast. SEO by Yoast is a plugin for WordPress. There is a paid version and a free version, and see it has the little green, yellow, and red lights.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful tool. And it gives you some incredible information about your content and the way the search engines see it. There is a free version if you're an individual and you just want to add it, make it easy for yourself, great. If you're a company, I would recommend going for the paid version because it's a little more robust, but for individual blogs, the free version is fine. That's a terrific plugin. Okay. Optimize your alt tag, your images with alt tags. An alt tag looks like this. If you write it out, image, blah, 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 alt equal picture of vintage shoes. Whenever you have an image, you must put an alt tag on there so that it's website accessible. Arizona Tile didn't have alt tags on all of their images. They did they rebuilt their website and they dumped all the old content onto their new website, and the old content didn't have alt tags. And Google penalized them for not having alt tags, and they got notice from the accessibility law people that said that their website was in violation of handicap accessibility laws. And we had to go in and put alt tags on everything. The alt tag has to match the picture of the picture that it's describing. You could, if this was on an Arizona Tile website, you couldn't put Arizona Tile shoes. Those are not Arizona Tile shoes, they're vintage shoes. So you have to describe the picture so that if a blind person is reading your website with a reader, when it rolls over the image, this is what the reader tells them, that this is a picture of vintage shoes. So it's very, very important that you put alt tags on all of your images for accessibility. Other reason it's important for you to put alt tags is if you're searching for vintage shoes, spell it correctly. And then you go to the images, you're going to see pictures and pictures and pictures of vintage shoes. So it makes your website, if you sell vintage shoes and you don't have alt tags on your images are not going to show up here. Because the only way they show up here is if they have an alt tag. Let's do something fun. Computer Coach. So let's go to images. Computer Coach is really good about putting alt tags on all of their images. So all of these images are of content or social posts that Computer Coach has described and put an alt tag on. Look how much is available for people to find Computer Coach. That's amazing. So they did a really good job. If you put your name up there, then pictures of you are going to be up there if you've put alt tags on your images. So having an alt tag is critical. Add structured data when it makes sense. And structured data is rich snippets. It's part of code. If you want to find out how to write rich snippets, go to these two websites and they will give you a blow-by-blow on how to write code for these rich snippets. WordPress does have some plugins that help with rich snippets. But if you want your content to show like this with, with navigation listed under your URL so people can go directly to other pages besides the home page, then you need to use rich snippets for structured data. Make your content easy to read. There's a wonderful tool that I often use on everything called Grammarly. How many people use Grammarly?
I don't know. I used it, but it corrects it. A lot of times it counters what checkers like words say.
Yes, and it's okay because Grammarly, like I used to write content for Shutterfly, and Shutterfly hates the comma. I keep forgetting the name of that comma.
And Grammarly loves the comma.
comma.
Yeah, they love commas, but Shutterfly hates them. So whenever I would put Shutterfly content into Grammarly, it would tell me that I needed the comma when I didn't really need a comma. So
Yeah.
you can set it for casual content, formal content. You can kind of customize it so that it has a closer idea of what kind of punctuation you want, what kind of words you want. But Grammarly will also tell you if your content is readable. So let's see if I can log in real quick. Will it let me? Taking a long time. I'm going to go over to this. I'm going to put this in Grammarly, if it will show up. Oh, come on. Taking too long. Well, when you put the content into the Grammarly dashboard, there's a little report on the side that will tell you how, it'll give you a readability score. It'll give you a couple of different scores that tell you if your content is, how easy it is to read. So mine's not going there. So, okay. Here's an example of the Grammarly readability score. So the word length is up on this particular content was a little above average. The sentence length was above average, but the readability score was of 5 out of 51. So it was okay. But it's important that you don't try to use big words just because you know them. Search engines don't like that. Use internal and external linking. In your content, in your website, you're going to want to link to other pages within your website because you want your readers to go through your page and read it, and then you want to entice them to continue reading other pages on your site. And the only way that they're going to do that is if they click on a link that takes them to another page, like this Arizona tile one. So I'm reading along, reading, and I kind of like this tile that they're talking about. So I click on it and it takes me to another page that shows me that particular tile in other ways, in other colors. And I go, oh, cool, I like that tile. But I'm still on the website, and I can go down and I could see, oh, I like this tile too, and I could click on it. And I could sit here and look at tile all day, just clicking on their links. And then Arizona tile gets benefit of all those links in their Google Analytics, and it keeps you on their website longer. So it's it helps your SEO. Now, they don't have any external links that I can see, but it's important that you do include some external links. It's called link love. So if I were Arizona Tile, which I have recommended to them before, is to find one of their favorite designers that has used one of these tiles. Let's say this brick one, this one right here. Find a designer that's used that tile in one of their designs and link to one of their blogs to show them a little love. And in turn, that designer will link to your site. And Google sees that as a vote of confidence. So if a designer links to Arizona Tile to show a product, then it gives Arizona Tile a little boost. If Arizona Tile links to a designer, it gives that designer's website a little boost. So it's a good thing to link to other people and give them a little link love. Okay.
Not too much though. I mean, you don't want a buyer to leave your website too often.
Right, and I usually make those links blank so that the original page still shows up, so they don't lose the original page.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I don't want them to go off the site completely. I just want to give that other that designer a little love, so they can click on it and see the designer's page, but they can easily go back to my page. You can also do it, you can get internal links by being a guest blogger. So let's say your attorney for copyright wants to blog for somebody that deals with copyright issues, then she can just contact them and say, hey, I'm an attorney and I do copyright law, and I would like to write a blog article for your website. And most, 9 times out of the 10, they go, oh, I'd love that. That would be great. And then she can link from her description, her name, back to her site, which is link love. You can syndicate articles. There are sites called Medium. There's one called Medium. There's Reddit. There's a whole bunch of syndication sites where you can put articles that have previously been published on other sites and then link to the original site. But you have to make sure. My old boss used to write articles for Forbes. And so we would take the articles that he wrote for Forbes and put them on Medium. And then at the bottom of the article on Medium, I would put that it was originally published on Forbes on this date, so that it's not considered duplicate content. But it gives him a little link love. Okay. Multimedia. Use diverse content on your site. Lots of multimedia. When you write a blog article, it's important to use images and videos and audio content, podcasts, anything that's visually interesting to keep you on the page. It improves your bounce rate and it encourages people to share your content. If you go to a website and all there is just a block of text, what's the first thing you want to do? You know, text, and you leave. You want something to be visually interesting.
I think you have to be careful though, that like there's nothing worse than going to a website and it popping a video before you even get to the content on the site.
Yeah.
And people sometimes throw that in thinking it's engaging, or
Yeah,
forcing someone to watch a video.
Yeah, I don't like autoplay videos. I only put videos on the site that you have to click on them in order to get them to play. I hate autoplay videos. Yeah, never. That's really annoying, and it could get somebody in trouble at work. You know, even if you're doing research for work, and you go to one of those websites that has an autoplay video and it starts blaring out, it's not cool. Okay, questions about on-page SEO? I know you have some.
Jackie, this is Linda. I just wanted to share a comment that I write for a web company, a web developer, and he likes me to use plagiarism site and Grammarly so that I make sure anything I write isn't going to be picked up by Google to be plagiarized.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I managed a team of 27 writers. Some of them I used a lot. There were about 3 or 4 that I used constantly, but I had the others as backups. Every time a writer sends me content, I put it into Grammarly and check for plagiarism. I never publish content that has more than, I think it's like 5%. It's difficult to never have a group of words that's never been used before. But you definitely don't want someone to just go through and copy and paste a whole bunch of different blog articles and call it their own.
Right, and then when I write the blogs, and he also has me put in the blog title as the alt text for the photograph, the image, so that if somebody clicks on it, it'll go back to the article and pull up the article as well.
You can link it. You can link your image back to the blog article, but I would not use it for alt text.
Okay.
It can get penalized if the blog title isn't a very good description of the image. Let's say there's an image of a man on a computer, but the article is about copyright attorneys. And you put the alt tag as copyright attorney and the name of his company.
Mm-hmm.
That's not kosher.
Okay.
You would want to put man on a computer and then a dash or one of those bars and then the name of his company. But the first description has to be what the image is of. And then you can add the name of the company or the title of the blog as a secondary description.
Okay.
It would be something like man on a computer from a blog article entitled, da 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 da.
Right, and I think it's a given, everybody, we pay for the photography. I either photograph the image or we pay for it.
Yes, you absolutely have to pay for your images, whether it be from a stock company like Adobe Stock or iStock Photo or Getty or any of the number of stock photo companies. Original images are even better because stock images get used by a lot of different people. So you would like your images to be as original as possible. Never, ever, ever, ever copy an image and use it on your blog just from going to Google Images and picking it up and putting it in your blog.
He actually got fined $1,000
Yes.
for using a photo without paying for it.
Yes, it is against the law. Back in the 80s, I was the regional director for the American Society of Media Photographers in Washington, D.C., and helped lobby for the copyright laws. And one of the photographers that I worked with had someone steal one of his images, and they ended up having to pay him $15,000 per use. So it can be quite expensive. Those are not yours. Using them is stealing. So make sure that you pay for your images. Absolutely. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. This is Charlene. Like when you were talking about Arizona Tile and you talked about the internal and the external links. So almost kind of in line with the same conversation. So when you're talking about external links, what would be, because what you showed us was an internal link.
Right.
You know, so what would be an external link that they would have the authority to use in that industry or in any industry? What's an external link and what authority do you have to use it?
You don't have to have any authority. If sometimes, like you could put, let's say this tile, they are often shown in-house, HOUSU, you know, that, whatever that magazine, HOUSZ, house, yeah, HOUZZ. Arizona tile often shows up here. So it would be quite common for Arizona tile to show that particular tile, and then they could say as featured on house and have a link to the house image. And that's an external link. They don't need permission. They can send a link anywhere they want to.
So would a link, so it would be, I know it's an external link, but would that be for House would House consider that link a backlink to them?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why it's called link love, because you want as many backlinks in your content as possible. The more backlinks you have, the more authority Google says that you have, and they rank your site higher if you have more backlinks. Backlinks are a very, very desirable thing to have. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, now let's get into some technical SEO. It is, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock. I was going to let you guys do a little exercise before we get into some technical SEO of doing some searches on some of your keyword phrases and finding content and locating your keyword phrase and how they used it in the subheadings. So let's take a few minutes before we go on to technical. Use your #1 keyword phrase or #2 keyword phrase and do some searches and see how other people have used that particular phrase in their content. Make sense?
No, Jackie.
Yeah.
Is that something from the first lesson which I missed, or?
Yes. So
Okay.
what is your company? What's your product that you want to sell?
My company is Beach Athletic Company. My product is the Fitness Frame. The website is thefitnessframe.com.
The fitness what?
Frame, F-R-A-M-E.
F-R-A-M-E.
.com.
.com. Okay. So your site is, my computer is slow or your site is slow. We're going to talk about site speed in a few minutes, and you can test your site speed, but don't.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just not showing up yet. My internet connection is, let me go to my, I need to get rid of my, I need to stop my video. There. That'll help. That'll help a little bit. Okay, so your fitness training. So let's say your keyword phrase is all-terrain training systems. So let's take all-terrain training systems and put it in search and see what else comes up, what other companies come up. Okay, see here's a specialist training G4s.com has a page called all-terrain driving, all-terrain robot. That's not all-terrain fitness though. No, all train's not a very good term. Let's just put fitness training.
So that not being a good term just in that could be hindering, or just the way that you did that search?
Yeah, just the way I did it, because all terrain usually means like a vehicle or something. I don't know how you're using all terrain fitness in your site.
Because it's a device that can be used in the water, can be used on land.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, nobody else is using that keyword phrase, so you should be able to rank for it pretty easily. All-terrain fitness. But let's look at fitness training systems. And you get a lot of, here's in search, you have the products, and then you have local fitness training. And then let's just take, here's a website. This might be considered one of your competitors because it's about fitness training. And I don't see a lot of content on here either. So they really don't have your keyword phrase. Let's find another keyword phrase. Core exercises might be something that you would write an article on. Core exercises. Now, if you wrote an article about core exercises using your product and you optimized it well and made it specifically about core training, you could possibly show up here. The purpose of keywords is to be able to get found when people put phrases in other than just your product name.
Understand.
Yeah. So that's how you, when you look at your content and look at how you're using your content, do a search on it and see how other people are using it. And then know that it would benefit you to write content about that. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay.
Down into a small bag. It can go in a pool, can go in the ocean. Is adjustable to from 7 foot to 3 foot 8 inches.
Nice.
There's one right behind me.
Nice. Okay. So you guys search on your top keyword phrase and see if you find content about it and see if you learn any new insights on how other people are using your keyword phrase.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
On my top two, the one that was more expensive didn't go to much content. It just went to all advertisers, like mine is All-Star Cheer.
Okay.
It's a fake business. I don't have an All-Star Cheer company.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, just my daughter, so I thought I would do that. But the one that is less expensive goes to a lot of content. So is it more valuable if it goes more to straight, well-written content, or is it more valuable? I would think that it would have rated better on the one that went to more articles than one that went straight to competitors. Because when you put one of the words up, no content comes up. It's all, advertisers. And then when you put in another term, which is all very synonymous, it's all articles. There's no intermingling.
Right. All-Star Cheer is a short tail keyword phrase.
Ah, that's why. Okay.
Yeah. And what's the next one in your list?
Competitive cheer, and that one pulls up a ton of articles.
Okay. All-Star Cheer is also a name of a competition, isn't it?
That's true. Every business has that in their name.
Yeah.
So now I got you.
Yeah. So it's a short tail keyword phrase. If you use a long tail keyword phrase, then you're more likely to have articles rather than ads.
Okay.
And it would be difficult for content to rank organically for All-Star Cheer because it's so competitive.
Yeah, everybody's paid to be in there.
Right.
Jackie, when I pull up two different keyword searches, I'm not getting the list of questions. And
Okay, what's your keyword phrase?
one of them is water damage restoration, Clearwater.
I'm having a hard, put it in chat because I'm having a hard time understanding you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right, it's my ears.
Okay. Water damage restoration, Clearwater, Florida.
Water.
Damage.
Oh, water, okay, water damage
Restoration.
Okay.
And restoration has a T, rest.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, Google tells me when I do it wrong. I've got lazy. So there's an ad and a local, and then there's some.
Oh, there's your questions. I didn't get it.
Then people ask.
Okay, you didn't put Clearwater in. Is that why?
Oh, no, I didn't. See, that's considered a, you can see the near me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a specific search. And Google says, okay, these people want Google local. Well,
Okay, perfect. That
there's
makes
more
sense.
questions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do Clearwater.
Yeah, whenever I put Clearwater in the search, no questions came up.
I got related searches, which is the LSI keyword phrases.
Mm-hmm.
But not
okay, so I'll just take Clearwater out, and I found the questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, Jackie. I noticed that too when I was doing searches for like comedians, Tampa Bay, etc. Is it the local word of Tampa? The questions wouldn't come up, or the related searches wouldn't come up sometimes either.
When I did a search on that phrase from your homework, I found that most of the search results were going to be about venues and not people.
Okay.
So when you're writing content, you're going to be competing with Tampa comedian venues. You may want to change that to you can geo-target Tampa, definitely, but make your content article not necessarily just about Tampa.
Oh, that makes sense. But is that necessarily like a bad sign or something to take note of if the people also ask or related searches doesn't pop up? Does that mean you're too specific or not specific enough?
No, it just means that not a lot of people have asked about that particular phrase.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anybody else find anything interesting in their search?
Jackie, so how do we do that with t-shirts?
Oh, yes, I wanted to do some searches for you in t-shirts. So, women's t-shirts. That's a very short tail keyword phrase. And the way that you can find variations on that keyword phrase is to look at these questions. And you might want to write an article about the most popular color for women's t-shirts. And your title of your article could be what are the most popular colors for women's t-shirts?
Okay. Or you could do it by seasons and stuff like that, right?
You could
Like-
do what's the most popular color for spring t-shirts or
Okay.
summer t-shirts, or find
Well-
something specific to your brand
Right.
and write an article that answers one of these common questions, and then they'll find your site.
Ah. Okay.
So with women's t-shirts, you are going to have to use long tail keyword phrases. Here are other variations of the term women's t-shirts: basic women's t-shirts, women's graphic t-shirts, vintage t-shirts.
Mhm.
You may want to put your brand name in front of women's t-shirts, because then if people know your brand, then your brand would definitely come up.
Okay.
Jack, I have a comment for her. I wrote for a closet company, and I Googled all the stars, and I showed their really high-end, extravagant closets and put pictures in, and I made sure to give credit to the different sources. And I wonder if she can go and say what the female movie stars are, what type of t-shirts they're wearing, and then actually put their name in there so it would rank even higher.
You have to be, it's a good point, but you
Yeah.
have to make sure that your article is an editorial article. And a lot of the stars are actually selling those pictures as promotional pictures. They're not editorial.
Okay.
So just giving them credit may get you in trouble.
Okay.
If your article is not an editorial, if it's actually selling, then you could definitely get in trouble.
Okay.
It has to be an educational or an editorial article in order to get by with just crediting the image.
Okay, so based on what she said and what you're saying, that is how it could be used in a blog?
If you were writing an article about fashion trends and you were writing it for something like Women's Daily, then absolutely you could use images of stars and credit those images to the photographer. But you have to get permission, especially if you're using images of the Kardashians, because they sell those images and they're not editorial.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a client that was BAA water bottles, and they and in order to get the stars to be able to use their images, they gave all of them water bottles and had pictures of them carrying their water bottles, and then they were able to use those images.
Okay.
It was
Well,
quite
it's
expensive.
definitely something, but it's something to think about on a smaller scale. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You could do something like t-shirt trends in Clearwater, and just go to the beach and ask people if you can take their pictures, and or give them a t-shirt and say, would you mind modeling this? There's all types of things that you could do.
Okay.
Just get a signed release from them and take their picture, and then you can show it as a t-shirt trend in Clearwater.
You absolutely have to make sure you've gotten a release.
Yes, get a release. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jackie, I had a question about capitalization. In other words, t-shirt, the T doesn't have to be capitalized, or should it be capitalized? It won't matter in the searches?
It does not matter. Searches are most often always lowercase. If you use uppercase, it makes no difference. The keyword research tools pull all of their content in lowercase. Everything's lowercase, even Florida. names of states and whatever. You wouldn't want it all lowercase in your title. You want proper capitalization there, but these are keyword phrases. So you're going to see it all over the place. Okay. Any more questions? Any more interesting insights? Let's go on to technical SEO. This is a very high-level overview of technical SEO. Technical SEO is a very complex topic. I'm going to give you enough information so that when someone talks to you about technical SEOs that you won't have a blank look on your face. But if you have technical SEO issues that are causing your site to not work properly, I recommend that you give it to a technical SEO expert and have them fix it. Not everybody knows how to do technical SEO. So here's a little bit of high-level checklist that you can take care of. Make sure that your site is mobile friendly. If your site is not responsive, if it's not mobile friendly, Google will ding your site and penalize it and not give it higher ranking. Make sure that you have an HTTPS. That's when you set up your hosting and you get a secure server HTTPS. You have to pay for that certificate. Check your site load speed. If you have large images that take a long time to render, your site is not going to be it won't rank well because Google doesn't like sites that take too long to render. People are impatient. So Google only makes sites that are fast and mobile friendly rank at the top. If you have a lot of broken links on your site, then it's not a very good user experience and Google's going to penalize you for that. And identify crawl errors. We're going to talk about the Google Webmaster Tools, the Google Console, and a couple of other tools that will help you identify broken links and crawl errors. And
What's a crawl? I'm sorry.
Crawl error is when the bot, the Google bot, the spiders, crawl your website to see what's on your page. If it finds errors on your page, it will identify them. And then you need to fix them because when it finds an error on the page, it stops the crawl and jumps to the next page. So you don't get the full benefit of the crawl. Let's start with mobile friendly. If you go to https, search google.com, test mobile friendly, and put your website in there, then it will tell you whether or not your page is mobile friendly. It'll give you a little badge like this. This page is mobile friendly. Means that you have a site that's responsive that will render in different sizes depending on the device you're using. That's a very big deal for Google. It's a big deal for your customers too because 48% of all buyers search on their phones. So if you want to do that now, I can wait. If you want to keep going, I can keep going. HTTPS. I think we all know what that is, right? When you host your site, you get a secure server certificate with your hosting company, and it puts this little HTTPS in your website URL and that cute little lock, and it just means that your site is secure. Google doesn't like sites that are not secure. Page speed. There are a couple of places that you can look at page speed. We talked about the website grader last week. The Google website grader will, let's go to HubSpot. type website grader. And let's put, I have a new website that I'm working on. Let's put it's not even completely built yet. Okay, it's good. I'm surprised that I got a 5 on security because it's an HTTPS. So I'll scroll down and find out why. The performance is good. Page size is good. SEO. Oh, I'm missing some meta descriptions. There are some pages on the site that were in the theme that I just haven't deleted yet, and they don't have meta descriptions. All of the pages that I built do. So I just need to delete the pages that aren't really mine, and that'll fix that problem. Okay, so it says some of my buttons and links are too small and too close together to make it mobile friendly. So I'll go and look at my pages and see why that is and fix that. And security, I have HTTP. Oh, there are some JavaScript libraries that are going to be deleted, so that'll fix that as well. Okay, and it tells you what you should do. So I'm going to remove the JavaScript library. I'm going to look at my links and buttons and make sure that they're large enough. And then I should get a better grade. But you can put any website in there. You put your website in there, and it will give you a grade. The Google Webmaster tool is a better tool for page speed. It doesn't have anything to do with your computer speed. It's actually how fast the page loads, and not related to your computer if you have a slow computer. Screaming Frog. Now, I bet you're not going to be able to hear this. I'm going to click it and you tell me if you can hear it. If you can't, then I want you, for homework, I would like for you to look at this video. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, sorry. There's a button on Zoom that I'm supposed to be able to click, and I can't find it that lets me play videos, and I don't know where it is. Screaming Frog is a tool that you download. I'm gonna go over here so that I can. Oops. Okay, come on. Well, I'm trying to get to my desktop. Here it is. I have Screaming Frog downloaded on my computer. It's a really cool tool to here it is. It's a spider. It's a company out of UK that crawls your website, and it lists all your URLs. It tells you a list of all your images. It tells you if you have any broken links. It's a really, really cool tool. You can use Screaming Frog for free for up to 500 pages per crawl. If you crawl more than 500 pages, you have to pay for a license. And my sites usually only have about 20 pages, so it's fine. And it's going to take forever to load. So let's go on and see if it'll load. Go back to presentation.
Jackie, will you be able to at some point just put the YouTube link for the Screaming Frog video in the Slack channel?
Yes, I will put the link to the Screaming Frog one and a couple of other ones that I have listed at the end that I call cool videos. Yes, I will give you the links to them so you can look at them. You can also just go to YouTube and search Screaming Frog and it comes up. It's a very well-known SEO tool. So Screaming Frog gives you an Excel spreadsheet that looks like this. And it lists your URLs and your meta descriptions and your tags and your alt tags and meta tags and everything in a column. So you can quickly see which pages don't have meta descriptions, or if you have duplicate meta descriptions. It's a really cool tool for being able to sort out all the issues with your site with just looking at an Excel spreadsheet. SEO crawl errors. So when Google searches your website, Screaming Frog also tells you if you have a 200 OK server response, which means that your page is good. It'll also tell you if your page is not good, and it'll give you the number for not good pages. The Google Search Console panel is something that it's attached to the Google tools. When you get Google Analytics code on your site, you can also list your site in the Google Search Console. This is a site that I made a long time ago. It's a young woman that lives in the Washington, D.C. area that's a piano teacher. And so I made this site for her, and this is her Google console. It tells you all of her her traffic and any issues that she might have, performance issues. It goes over that's her URL, missjuliespiano.com. But it's a nice tool, and if you have Google Analytics, you should also have Google Console, because it helps you understand what's going on with your site and if what Google sees is in your site. So Google Console is important, and it tells you if you have any search errors. Let's recap the tools real quick. SiteLiner I didn't talk about, and I don't know why I have it on the recap, and I didn't talk about it before, but you can go to siteliner.com. And you put in your website. Let's just put the Cat Media in there. We've already done that one. And it gives you a report on how many pages. The 35 pages here that have no follows on them, those are pages that I have to delete. I have 14 normal pages. I have 22 pages that have duplicate content on there. Still part of the stuff that I need to delete. There's your page size, page load time, number of words on a page, and the number of words on the page is pretty good. It should have more toward the 600, 800 words on a page, but 478 is good. Anything under 200 is your page is too small. So it just gives you a report that tells you how your site is doing. The pages that I'm deleting have a bunch of inbound links, so when I actually delete them, I'm not going to have that many inbound links, which is going to be kind of crappy. Anyway, so that's SiteLiner. It looks for duplicate content, broken pages, and page power, which is the number of words, load speed, and that sort of thing. And there's Screaming Frog again, and the URL for Screaming Frog. Any questions? That's a very high-level overview, and I know it's probably just kind of brushed and you're going, what? So ask questions.
Yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The last thing that you were talking about as far as like a word count, was that the total for the site or per page?
Per page.
Okay.
It'll give you a word count per page. Average.
For content, I understand, but what if you had like a portfolio site or something that was more image driven? You would still need to try and have that many words, like in descriptions, or?
You need to have some page on a portfolio site, like, I'm sorry, the comedian, I forgot your name.
Yes, Natasha.
Natasha, there you go. Natasha has a beautiful site with a lot of images and very few words. It's kind of a portfolio site. In order for her site to rank well, she needs to have at least one page, which is generally the home page, that has at least 500 words on it. So you need to put content on your home page. Other pages can be galleries. Like Arizona Tile has a beautiful gallery, but they also have blogs and they have other pages that describe product. Their gallery is not what they need to rank. Their homepage is what they need to rank. So it's important.
So if you had several pages, but most of your content or your words were on a homepage, that would still work? Yeah,
it would still, it means and you do want your homepage to rank higher than your other pages. Very, very often a website's homepage won't rank as well as a blog article. It's okay if that happens, but generally you want your homepage to be the one that ranks the best. So when you, so if you have a bunch of blogs that are ranking better than your homepage, you'd like to link the homepage to your blog articles so that it gives your homepage a little boost in the rankings.
Does that work the other way too, if you have a link on your homepage to your blog?
Yes, yeah.
And also if you had content that was hidden in, say, an accordion type menus type area, that would also count?
The menu being an accordion wouldn't make the difference. It's the individual page as it renders, not the menu.
No, but I mean, if on that page you have a button that opens up a pop-up with content in it.
Oh, if the pop-up is a frame and not an indexed page, it's not going to really make any difference. You'd have to see if that frame is, if it's framework or if it's actually a page of content. Content that's in a frame isn't crawled.
Is there any way to include that content in the actual code, even though it's not going to appear on the page?
No, you wouldn't want to just put it in the code. We had that issue with Nissan, was a client of mine, and they had a lot of content in iframes that weren't indexed. So what we did is we took a section of the bottom of the page that had all the iframes, and we wrote geo-targeted content that talked to the frames, that talked about the frames and the content that was in the frames. So on the page, what got crawled was the content at the bottom of the page. It just kind of bypassed the iframes and went to the bottom content, and that's what made the page rank. Although the user saw the content in the iframe, geo-targeted content was also at the bottom of the page. That made it get indexed.
But is that that content visible as soon as the page opens, or you scroll down and you can see it on the page?
It's visible if you scroll down. Yeah.
Okay. And then is it the same content that's in the frames, or is
No,
it slightly
it's just it's a description that speaks to, let me see if I can find one. Have to kind of get to it a funny way. Let's see. Try this one. Nissan has a very odd website, and it has these little sections where you would put your zip code, and then it would take you to the dealerships. This is not one of them. Let me go back and see if the Nissan Clearwater has it. Yeah, here, this. We wrote content like this for all of the regions of Nissan that would allow, that would give the page content that, because these things don't rank. That's not real, that's not real content. So this down here is. So we wrote this part for the entire country that talked about different models of Nissans in different areas of the country. And it was kind of telling a story about traveling from one area of Nissan to another area, see Nissan in a Rogue or something.
It looks like, is it a sort of a carousel because you can flip through pages, but yet?
This one looks like it is, but the pages that we wrote were not in a carousel. This one does look like a carousel.
Oh, that would, if it was a carousel, it would be within a frame and it wouldn't read.
Yeah. Well, some carousels are not frames, but this is actually just looks like it's just a, I don't know. But this is the kind of content that we wrote because the top of the page was just images of cars and part of the shopping cart. It was dynamic, so it's not really crawlable.
So that little area on the left wouldn't be crawlable either. the $50 test drive?
No, no. No, none of that is, none of that's really, it's dynamic content that feeds into the page depending on your search query. But this is the real content on the page. So this was a fix. It's not necessarily best practice. So I wouldn't do this to be able to do other stuff that's not best practice. That makes sense? You want content on your page.
That makes sense. I guess just from my perspective of having built using, WordPress tools, how to be able, how to tell what tool and what content area is going to, allow for the crawler to read it.
Anytime that you put on WordPress, when you put a widget in there, that's not an iframe. It just is when you put those little, they're like little blocks of text. Let me show you on DeCat. So this is the website, and I have this big, huge image at the top. But all of this is crawlable content. These are little modules that you add to the page to build the page out. And that's a crawlable content. This is crawlable content. Those aren't iframes. So that I have enough content. Now these are also linked to other pages. Well, they're supposed to be. They're not. I have to fix that. I haven't gotten those pages built out yet. But each of these sections will go to another page. They'll link to another page that talks about social engagement, local SEO, blogging, and review management. But it's a work in progress right now. It only has a home page. It doesn't have the other pages ready for public eye.
The fact that it has links, though, that will eventually point to other pages with content on them, does the content on those other pages also factor into your homepage search optimization?
No, each page URL is unique within itself. So if you have, I think I have, whoops, I don't want to go there. So if I go to catmedia.com, I think there is an about page, but it's not in the menu yet. No, it's not built out yet. So when I finish building the about page, there will be content here that's going to be connected to some of the content on the home page, but this is a separate page that will be crawled. Let's see if I have anything. I might have, it's been a while since I worked on it. I can't remember what I've built out. No, it's a 4042. I think yeah, here's this is from the original template. This is not any of DeCat's blog content, but This is a category page, which is indexed as a blog page. And these are individual blog posts that are also indexable, but they're not my content. These are part of the ones that I need to delete. Just the hello world stuff that everybody on a WordPress site sees when you're first building it out. That's it. That makes sense? Any more questions?
No, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Is
No more
everybody brain
questions.
dead?
It's, come on. No more questions.
Okay, so homework. Well, here's some cool videos that I'd like you to look at. There's I'm gonna upload this, and they're about SEO for 2020. This video is a good video, but I wouldn't necessarily look at him as an authority on backlinking. He uses some techniques that I don't approve of, but this particular video he did was good. And this one is with Matt Cutt, and Matt's are always good. Homework. I would like for you guys to write a blog article based on your #1 keyword phrase. And I include the keyword phrase in the URL, the H1, and variations of the keyword, and the H2 in the body content. And then I'll show you how to, we'll look at it to optimize it for humans and for web crawlers. Sound like fun?
Are you going to post the presentation on Slack?
Yes.
You did last time? Okay. And so that example that you showed us about the white, what was it, the white rooms or?
Yeah, the kitchen thing.
The kitchen, the white kitchens. Yeah, that's the
I can
example that you want
include
us to
that one.
follow.
Sure.
For the blog
Yeah.
post? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions about the homework?
Can you go back one to those, unless you're going to include the links on the videos to watch? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll copy these links into, I can copy them. Well, I'll copy them into Slack so that you can just click on it. Because when I upload the deck, it's going to be a PDF, and then you'd have to type it in. So I'll put the links in there so you just can click on them.
For the article, is it okay if it's just a Word format, Doc?
Absolutely, yes. Your article should look like this. I'd like for you to have an H1 tag, a meta description, a meta keyword, and your content, the body. Usually before I give this to a client, I put right there. And that's how I give content to a client for them to read and approve. And then once it gets approved, and if their developer loads it, the developer knows how to load it. If I load it, then I know how to load it. Because these things are all part of SEO by Yoast. And it's just nice to have the meta description already written, the keyword phrase already selected, the title already selected. It just makes it really easy to load into WordPress that way. Okay. Questions?
Jackie, question. Oh, sorry. You mentioned DuckDuckGo yesterday, and I actually used that as an add-on for my web browser. How much does it matter which web browsers or extensions that people use in terms of how it interacts with our sites?
It does make a difference. And you can test on different browsers. There's tools that allow you to test on different browsers.
Right.
Some websites will render well on
You can have nachos
Firefox or
for game night tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute.
like
Is
there's
tomorrow movie night or game night? Oh, you can have nachos for movie night if you want.
somebody needs to mute.
Sorry.
Sorry.
And I should have been more specific in my question. I understand like testing across browsers, how that affects it. I guess I mean in terms of what we're learning, keyword phrases, and like if DuckDuckGo is, I'm not really sure how the security works, but that type of.
Yeah, DuckDuck, you're not going to have the same SEO results in DuckDuckGo that you have in Google. Where all of the we're learning right now is Google. There is another process to get ranked in Bing. But Google is the #1 search engine that people use.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get good with Google, you're going to be pretty good. You can also request to be indexed in Bing and DuckDuckGo and Yahoo and all of the other ones.
That makes sense. Thank you.
The DuckDuckGo is different because it doesn't really, it doesn't keep search history on you. When you search in Google, and if you're a person that searches for a lot of, let's say, fitness and exercise sites, then anytime that you put a keyword phrase into your browser, then Google's going to assume that it has something to do with fitness and exercise. If I just put in there like, I don't know, shoes, but I've been doing a lot of searching about marathons and 5Ks, and Google knows that I've been searching about marathons and 5Ks and running tracks or whatever. So if I just put in the term shoe, it's going to show me running shoes because that's my search history. It's my profile. They keep kind of a search profile on you as an individual. When you go to, I searched a lot about marathons and running and whatnot, and I go to Facebook, then Facebook is going to show me ads about running shoes. I've been doing a lot of searching and shopping about pond equipment. So when I go to my Facebook page, I see a lot of ads for ponds, pond fish and plants and pumps and all sorts of things, just because that's my search history. DuckDuckGo does not do that. Google and Bing and Yahoo do.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to reading your articles. You don't have to have them by Tuesday because we're going to be talking about Google Analytics on Tuesday, but I would like them by Wednesday of next week. If you can get them to me before Tuesday, that would be great. It would give me an opportunity to read them and mark them up and get them back to you. But do the best you can. Okay? All righty. Well, I'm going to,
Can I ask
hopefully
a
this
question?
recording worked. I'm going to stop.
Are you
Jackie,
able to put the home